guys, it has been a minute since I last came on here and filmed, and over the last probably 4 or 5 years I've been filming super sporadically. If you're new here, I used to film a lot of videos when I was in college about what it was like to be an English major and a aspiring novelist. Fast forward to today, I'm actually a full-time writer, but still not an author. My day job, and I put it in parentheses because I genuinely really love it, and also I'm a freelancer, so it's not like a typical 9 to 5, but I work as a healthcare writer and marketer. Well, healthcare writing is still a semi-creative field. It's not as creative as novel writing is, and I still really dream of being a published author. And this year I have decided to kind of revive that dream. So I am working on a dark academia novel. I also have moved, so I actually immigrated to the UK and am living in London now. Living in London also just seems like a really great opportunity to be able to like kind of share with you all what makes this city so great, why it's so fantastic for book lovers. It seemed like the right time to start creating content again, just to kind of hopefully inspire some other people if you're also hoping to revive creative projects or start creative projects for the first time, and also to just kind of share what life is like in London, because this city truly is so magical and there's so many fun events I have coming up at different museums or different bookish events, and I thought I would take you all through in this video a weekend and what my life looks like here in London as a writer and book lover. Now that we have like the awkward reintroduction out of the way after like 3 years of ghosting this channel, let's hop into what I am working on today. When I'm filming this, not when you're watching it, it is actually like a holiday in the US, and all my clients right now are actually US based. Today, all my clients are basically off, so it's a really great day for me to take off and work on my novel. Just to give you a little bit of backstory on this project, I started it about a year ago. I did like a fast draft within 3 months and have been revising it since, so I've spent more time revising the novel than writing the novel, which I don't think is that abnormal. I've had, I think, 4 people now beta read it, and they all love the story and gave me really useful feedback. And I'm working actually with one of those beta readers who's like a semi-beta reader, semi-critique partner, on how we can both improve our stories. So I'm kind of working off of her feedback and a huge plot hole that I found. I'm hoping to fix that plot hole this weekend and then hopefully send it back to her to get some more feedback on it. At the same time, I have been working on these edits so intensely, so I really want to finish these today so I can take 2 complete days off of writing. I just want to spend the weekend reading, and I also have some really fun events coming up. I'm trying out a book club for the first time, and I am only 25% through the book. It is Friday. The book club is on Sunday, so this video is going to probably low-key be a readathon as well as I try to finish that. But before I can get to reading, I really want to get back into writing. We have 4 chapters that I've edited, and I just like want to read through and make sure that the edits made sense. That might be it, but let me check my Notion, which is where I keep all my notes on everything I'm doing. My friend asked me the other day if I'm like super flowy with my novel writing, and to be honest, it's really structured. I would love to be just like a flowy creative person, but I am not. I am way too type A for that. So I have 4 chapters that I just want to read through, and then 1 chapter that I've already read through, but just something about it doesn't sit right with me. So I really want to dive back into it and just see if I can fix that. We are done with those edits, and now it's time to read. I just realized I didn't say what the book club book was. So we are reading There Are Rivers in the Sky. It kind of like in some ways reminds me of Isabel Allende's writing, just in the sense that it's a super sweeping story that really encounters many different cultures and many different time periods and characters within one book. But other than that, there's not a lot of similarities. So it's not like exactly like Isabel Allende's writing. It's basically about 3 people. One who lives in Victorian London, one who lives in 2014 Turkey, and another person who lives on a houseboat in London in 2018 who's an immigrant from Turkey. And it's about how their stories are intertwined. I'm guessing we haven't really come to how their stories have intertwined yet. I'm gonna be really disappointed in this book if they don't intertwine in some way. Because it's been so long, I thought it could be really fun to just kind of walk through a few of my favorite books from this year and books that I would recommend. So because I write in the romantasy genre. I read a lot of romantasy and fantasy books, and a couple of my favorite ones that I read so far this year on my Notion board. So I have a board, it's called Annual Rankings, where I just kind of rank what I think of all the books. Romantasy recommendations and fantasy recommendations. One, the Mistborn series by Brandon Sanderson. I've only read 2 books so far this year in the series, mainly because the holds on the library on those books is so long, but I adore those books, and it's actually a mission of mine to thrift all the books in the series because it's a little bit of an older series. I feel like they're kind of common in thrift stores. I've only found the 4th book, which I need the 3rd book because that's the next one I'm going to read. Another romantasy book, and this one's romantasy. So like Brandon Sanderson is not romantasy, but a romantasy book that I absolutely adored this year was The Rose Bargain. And The Rose Bargain is basically like Bridgerton meets a romantasy with fae. It's basically about this alternative world where 1800s Britain is ruled by a fae queen, and she decides that her fae prince son is going to take a mortal wife. And I think there's like 12, don't quote me on that number, 12 like debutantes who decide that they're going to try to compete for the prince's hand. We follow one of those debutantes as they go through this kind of like selection style trial, but in Regency era England. It is so good. I loved it. If you just want like a fun romantasy, highly recommend. Then we have The Hurricane Wars. The Hurricane Wars was so good. So The Hurricane Wars is like a Southeast Asian inspired romantasy with an enemies to lovers arc, and I absolutely loved it. I have yet to pick up the 2nd book. I keep saying I'm gonna go to Waterstones and get the 2nd book. I just haven't yet. So I actually don't own the 1st book either on my bookshelf, which because I moved from the US to the UK, I couldn't bring a lot of books with me. Maybe I'll link it below, but I used to have like some bookshelf tours on my channel where I owned like over 300 books in the US, but now I like don't even have enough books to fill up the shelf because books are too heavy to bring across when you're just flying, because when I moved here I just like flew and had 2 suitcases. We're slowly building back up our book collection. The good news is that books in the UK are so cheap. If anyone is coming to the UK on vacation from another country, like leave space in your suitcase because the books here are like at least 30% cheaper than in the US. So this is what the bookshelf looks like right now. As you can see, there's like all the space on the top shelf. The bottom shelf is also not full, and the shelves aren't as full as they could be because we have some Jane Austen puzzles. We have 2 Jane Austen puzzles, and we have yet to do either. One other book that I really loved that is romantasy and also self-published was A Pocket of Lies. One thing I will say about this book is that she does market it as like a romantasy, enemies to lovers, but mainly just enemies. There's not a lot of like romance scenes in it, which to me is fine because I'm always there for the plot before I'm there for the romance. But if you are looking for a book that really leans heavily into the romance, that might not be the best choice. But if you want like an epic high fantasy with a strong female character and like a subtle romance backstory, it is a great choice. Okay, but enough procrastinating on actually reading by talking about books. I swear, talking about books and reading books are 2 separate hobbies. Also book collection, a 3rd separate hobby. But now we're going to get to that first hobby of reading. First, let's grab a snack. So my partner is British and I love learning about like British things. And honestly, British food, not great. British sweets, amazing. British like biscuits, which is their word for cookie, amazing. And these biscuits, they're called hobnobs. So good. I don't even know how to describe them. Do they have a description on here? It's kind of like an oatmeal cookie, but then it has chocolate on the outside, and it's just so good and dangerously addictive, as you can see since most of the containers already gone. Also, Percy Pigs, another amazing sweet, but you have to get the vegetarian type. I don't know what it is. The vegetarian type just tastes so much better, even though technically both like the original and the vegetarians are vegetarian now, which is confusing, but they did something different with the vegetarian ones and they are so good. And then the other sweet here that I love is Galaxy Chocolate. I think it's just such a good chocolate and like so much better than Hershey's and a lot of the chocolates that you get in the States. Good morning. It is now Saturday. I had a really lovely morning, as you all saw, just reading down near the Thames. I am about 200 pages into my book club book now, so definitely need to pick it up because that's only 50%. And again, book club is tomorrow. I feel like I'm really good with books when it comes to like reading it under pressure. And I feel like even when I don't have like book club, I tend to just read maybe like 100 pages through the work week and then I like binge the rest of whatever book I'm reading on the weekend. I have faith that we're going to be able to finish this book. Right now, I have to go meet a friend. I'm super excited. We're meeting in Hampstead, which is the neighborhood in London where like a lot of the British celebrities live, including like Harry Styles, Hugh Grant, Colin Firth, and low-key, I'm gonna be on the hunt for Harry Styles. There's also like a really giant park there that has this giant manor house that is an art museum. So we're going to be going to that art museum and I want to get there a little bit early just to kind of walk around Hampstead because it's a super cute area. And then also to walk through Hampstead Heath, which is the park there, and see how many cute dogs we can find. I have been super obsessive over dogs recently and there's just so many cute dogs in all the parks in London. Real quick before we head out, my friend told me that like there's like proper etiquette in Hampstead. Even if I see Harry Styles, I can't freak out about seeing Harry Styles, which is gonna be so hard for me. And I'm sure if I like grew up somewhere like LA or New York where there's a lot of celebrities, I would probably understand that, but I didn't. I grew up in the Midwest and there was no celebrities growing up. So the fact that I could be in the exact same neighborhood where Harry Styles' house is, insane. Insane. But okay, we're going to keep our cool. The only thing we're allowed to freak out about is cute dogs. Happy Sunday! So last time we chatted, I had 200 pages of this book so far and I had to read to page 467. That's how many pages there are in this book for book club. And I successfully did it last night / this morning. Did not film a lot of it, but got the book done right before book club. I find it really hard when it comes to like having a book to discuss because I read so many books and sometimes like forget some of the details. And so I want to read this book or any book club book as close to book club as possible, but then it almost feels like homework. Trying to find a balance there. If anyone has any tips, let me know. But I am really happy I finally finished this book. It was really good, a little bit different than what I normally read. Definitely depressing. Fun fact about me is I always have an audiobook and a physical book going at the same time. So my audiobook right now is Everything is Tuberculosis by John Green, which is a nonfiction book detailing the history of tuberculosis. Reading that book and reading this book at the same time definitely was not the best mood-wise. They're both very powerful books that I would really recommend, but whatever I dive into next will probably be a lighthearted romantasy, or I have yet to read Great Big Beautiful Life by Emily Henry. Then I also heard some people say that they cried during that book, so I'm not sure if I'm going to start that one next or not. We'll see, probably in the next vlog, not today's video. But Hampstead Heath was absolutely amazing. The entire park is actually quite small, so I walked from one end to the other in about 30 minutes, and what I really liked about it is you kind of started in what really felt like a city or like a suburb of London, and as you slowly got further into the Heath, you felt more and more like you were in the countryside. At the end of the park is this estate called Kenwood, and it's a giant manor house that has a art display. One section is paid, but then the rest of the museum is free. The library there was absolutely breathtaking. The artwork in the free section was absolutely amazing. And then they also had a really cute cafe. Didn't get any footage from the cafe, which was annoying, but it was kind of like a garden cafe. Definitely not a great cafe if it's raining because it was all outside. Actually, there was a small indoor section, but the outdoor section was just so gorgeous and lush and green. By the time you got to Kenwood, you literally felt like you were in the English countryside. So it was insane then that I could get back to the city in like a 30-minute tube ride. So now I have book club. I am a little bit anxious, not gonna lie, to go to book club. So it's my first time at this book club, right? So like, I don't really know a lot of the people. I know obviously the person organizing it, and then my one friend and I, she lives nearby. And so we can take the tube together to the book club, which makes it slightly better to like show up with someone. I noticed since moving to London, I've really had to like put myself out there a lot and go to different events for different things that I'm interested in, whether it's like a run club or a book event, and just hope that I meet people while there. And some of the places and some of the events have been fantastic, and I've met like really great friends who I then went on to hang out with a bit. I shouldn't say great friends because I've only lived here for like 3 months, but you get what I mean. Other events have been either I just felt super anxious at them, so I feel like I wasn't necessarily putting my best self forward, or maybe I just didn't meet the right people that I really vibed with, and kind of just came away from the event feeling just overwhelmed and a little bit drained. So I am an introvert, and already I know that the book club event is quite a long event. So I'm probably gonna want to come home and just watch TV or read, just to try to like mentally recharge before the work week. But it is a super exciting event because we are going to a brunch spot where we're going to discuss the book, and then afterwards we're gonna go book shopping around Chelsea, ending at the BookBar, which is a bookshop that also serves wine and coffee. And so I am just super excited to go see some bookstores, hopefully meet some really cool people, and have really good brunch. The brunch place has shashuka on the menu. So unless they're like out of the shashuka, that is 100% what I'm going for. Does anyone else like always look at the menus of any new places before you go? Because I always do that.